Alright, so we are going to hold this presentation in English language because we are recording it and we want to share it with a word. So this presentation will be about storing personal names in database, as the title says. And I am going to shortly introduce you to the topic as quickly as possible. So let's start with a kind of a joke, which is the longest name that has ever been found. It isn't really a full name as it is. I have already trimmed it a little, so as you can see, it is quite long and with a lot of incomprehensible names. So I wanted to start with that you cannot expect to handle each possible case because exceptions can happen. So how does Django, which we are actually use, handle the case? We have two fields, one called first name and second called last name. Each of these fields is capped to 30 characters, which doesn't really capture the case which I have showed a moment ago. Basically, we have 60 chars of space in basic Django model, which isn't enough to handle most of the cases. At least I believe that it is not enough to handle the name cases of internationalized world. So this is pretty much my reaction to trying to tackle the problem with the Django defaults. So yeah, it is pretty bad. So what can we do to make it better? Firstly, we need to understand that there is no such thing as first name or last name in the naming conventions. There is a given name and family name. These are the basics of naming. And the first name is not always the given name, and last name is not always the family name. Because in various cultures, such as Chinese, for example, as I will show you in a moment, family name is a first name and the given name is the last name. So this is pretty much complicated. So for example, the popular Yao Ming example, Yao is a family name and Ming is a given name, even though the Yao is provided first. So we cannot really use Yao as a first name or as a given name, because it doesn't really make sense, because for him it is his family name, so you cannot call him Yao, because it is just like I would call you via your surname, like Smith, for example, right? So it is first mistake of calling first name and last name. Example number 2. Mao Zedong, a very popular person. Well, not anymore. Here it is even more complicated, because Mao is his family name, while Dong is his given name, and Z is his generational name, which is another thing. In Chinese culture, they also have a generational name, which they share between the brothers and sisters, and yeah, so it is very, very, very complicated to handle such cases with simple first name and last name fields. Also, even if you would like to provide basic methods like short name or full name, which we usually provide in our Django models, it would be pretty hard to automatize it, because there might be even more parts, even more family names, even more given names, as I will show you in a moment. So what we have just let's apply what we have just learned to the default Django model. So we have two fields as we had before, given given name and family name. We have also uplifted the max length parameter to a bit more, 255, and we have also applied a constraint called given name and family name to tie these two fields together. So is it a good idea? No, it is not. This model I have just showed you sucks even more than the default Django, because names are not unique. There are lots of people with same names. I myself have a person that is called exactly as I am, so you cannot think that people differ by names. People have the same names in the world, and this happens a lot, as you can see. Here we have James Smith, and there are approximately 38,000 James Smiths, so it's quite a lot. Also, user can have more than two names. For example, even in modern Spain, it happens that mostly women have multiple family names, also multiple given names. So it doesn't work to have single fields, right, for these given and family names, because we are not really handling the relation. Also, user can have a legal mononym full name, and it also happens. So user can simply have a single part name. For example, there is a chair who was born as Charlene Sarkisian. I hope that I have pronounced it correctly. And it is a completely legal name. It's completely legal. Also, there is a freelancer developer called Winter. It is also completely legal, and we should be able to handle such cases in our databases. Also, some people might not have a name at all, so it doesn't really happen a lot. There are few cases in history, especially in our modern times of globalization, where a person doesn't have a name. However, if we are creating a critical system which has to handle all the possible cases, we have to take that in mind. So, pretty much our situation, right? We have no idea what we are doing. So, we can handle it. So it is a proposition how it could be done. However, as you can see, there are a lot of data. This model is very complicated, and this doesn't really even cover what I have just told you. So even such complicated model doesn't really cover what we might expect in the real world. So this is what happens pretty much when we are striving to handle everything in our application. So what is the proper way to do that in our simple apps? I believe that the simple is better than complex. So just like Python says, we are just providing single field for the full name. User can type anything he wants. He can type nothing in it. He can give us an empty string. He can give a full name with 500 characters. He can give a full name of 100 characters doesn't really matter. We don't really care about it. We only care about something I have called a wanted name. So this is probably not the best idea. This is probably not the best name to describe this field. However, in this case, we are simply asking the user what is the way he would like to be called by us. So that's the simplest idea to solve this problem, and I believe that it is more than enough in a case of most of our applications we develop in everyday world. And it is, in my opinion, much better than the first name, last name example that's provided by default Django. And that's pretty much all I wanted to say in this presentation.